What if this was the last episode of What If and the last bit of Marvel entertainment content that we have until what Hawkeye comes out?
Yeah, I think December. Well, no, Eternals.
Oh, I forgot Eternals. Well, TV wise, see, like
Right.
serial format, episodic weekly review type of thing is what I was actually meaning. But you were right. We do have the Eternals to look forward to. But even that's like November. That's like
You know what? I know you haven't seen it yet, so I won't say anything. But between all of the shows and the number of movies that are coming out, and I'm including all Marvel content across different companies at this point, I'm cool with a break. I need to mentally process things. A lot of stuff happened in What If, and we'll get into it. Like, I don't I don't want them to just keep throwing stuff at us just to throw stuff at us. Give me a little something. Let me chill. Let me breathe. Let me, take in. Let me watch 100 YouTube videos, even though I said I'm not going to speculate. And yeah.
Wait. Okay. So are you talking about Spider Man?
What do you mean?
You said I haven't seen it yet. What haven't I seen?
Venom?
Oh yeah. You didn't say that though. You just said you hadn't seen it yet. Or did you say Venom?
Oh,
I don't
maybe I
know.
did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
never mentioned what it was
Sorry.
that I didn't see.
My bad. Yeah. I'm
I'm
saying,
waiting for
like,
the cliffhanger.
Venom just came out, which was great. I thoroughly recommend that you see it. It was a wild ride. I thought it was a little short. Marvel has spoiled us with 2+ hour films, but other than that, it was really epic. And I would say if you feel comfortable going to theaters, you don't want to miss this.
I might be able to go. I'll try to go see it Monday, as a matter of fact, because I'm off Mondays and I can go to a matinee. Um, Speaking of, we need to do a watch party for Far From Home, if that's anywhere.
If
We were
it's still
supposed to do that.
available, let's
We were
check.
we were definitely supposed to do that.
I'm checking stars right now.
While she does that, man, we got the captain's logs in the chat. He says, "Viva Las Vegas."
What's
That's a
going
nice
on?
pun. Insider, you gotta see. You have to have seen the episode to understand what he's talking about. Ducky Momo's in the chat. Hawks Holocron. My mom is in the chat.
Momo.
It's the usual. It's the usual crew. The usual crew. But yeah, all right. So yeah, this episode was called "What If," and I just blanked on it. What if the Watcher broke his oath?
Yes.
Which is exactly what happened. He, of course, and as the titles always do in this series thus far, it is telling you what the episode is going to be about and what could follow. We did watch this episode yesterday, but we took a break because we were like rushing to get the review out, and we were like, you know what, that's not necessarily how we want to do this. We always want to be genuine and relax and actually have our thoughts together in some way, some form or fashion when we come on live streams to talk to you guys. So that's why we were delayed a day. Today was a better day for the two of us. So here we are, and I'm glad that everybody could join.
I just tried to find it on Stars, and apparently Stars is redoing the website and it's down, but that doesn't matter because the internet is the internet.
The
So
internet
we
will
can
internet.
do we can do a live stream regardless. So we just got to pick a day, but definitely Far From Home needs to happen.
Ducky Momo says that's his move. Matinee, Monday matinees. Those are like, honestly, if during this pandemic environment, don't tell everybody, but those Mondays are pretty good days to go if you can catch a matinee. You don't want to be around a lot of people. When I saw what is Shang-Chi, there were it was me and two other people in the theater, and we had like a large theater, and so one person was in the front bottom row, which I have no idea why anyone would choose to sit in those seats. And then the
Demon.
other person was like off to the side in the middle, and I was all the way in the back, dead center, in the best seat in the house.
If you willingly sit in that front seat, like the bottom row, like you're on the same
Like
level,
on the floor.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
either you got a bladder issue, you are disabled, or you're a demon. That's
Wow. Those are the
yeah.
only.
So either you have to sit there for personal reasons, or you're evil. There's no way in between.
Well, hopefully it was the personal reasons. You know, no incidents happened in theater, thankfully. So I'm gonna go with the personal reasons. However, you know these are reclining seats, so you can kind of sort of lay back like pretty far, and so I guess I don't know. Maybe it's enjoyable. It's not like you know those stationary classic theater seats where you don't really have that luxury. These are actually recliners, so you can get comfortable down there.
The last time I was that close to a screen, I saw Avatar in the real D 3D, um,
And
and
you had to
I
have gotten a
almost
migraine.
died. I had a headache. I was nauseous. I don't even like the 3D movies. They don't. I don't feel good. But then I was so close to the screen. I was looking up. I had to politely tell my father, "Never again. We're not doing that."
Not that close.
No,
Yeah, that's
I
insane.
have a range of where I like to sit and where I'm comfortable, and it ain't there.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, for me it's the middle of the theater, that middle area and up. It's that's I mean that's premium seating in my opinion. Like those are the best seats in the house, especially if you can get dead center of where the projector is, because you don't have to. It's I mean those are the most comfortable seats in the house for sure.
If you're in Greensboro, that the dine-in theater Four Seasons, there's like
Yes.
always a seat that's directly in the middle of the screen, not like the top, but like you're right smack dab in the middle of the screen. Perfection, perfection. But let's not talk about my seat desires.
Let's yeah, not delay this episode review any further. Well, really the show review because this is the finale. It was the finale, so we can talk about the episode and then the season overall. Um, and you know, as we always do with this, with these reviews, we gotta hear what everyone thinks on a scale of 1 to 10 scoops or spoons of gumbo, spoons of gumbo.
We got to work on that.
I think it's scoops, you know, because it's almost like you got to scoop it out. Like how many scoops of gumbo you gonna get? You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
lot of gumbo.
I
But
mean, it might be a small ladle. You know, it could be a small ladle where it actually could
gravy
the
ladle size.
portions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it may be.
All
But
right.
you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rank this episode? Let us know in the comments. We're gonna give you our rankings. Imani,
Sure.
7.
Yeah.
I concur.
So I'm gonna complain,
You're gonna
but then I'm
preface? Are you
also
gonna preface that,
yes,
or
but
it's
I'm
too late
gonna
to preface
give
it? Or are you gonna kind of?
Disney a little. Oh, I'm gonna say my complaint, and then after that, I'm gonna be like, you know what? But so first, that starting five was really whack, and I was expecting a lot more bang.
Wait,
I,
before you go too far, I want everybody to know that that was literally the first thing that she texted me. I don't know if you were watching the episode or after you'd watched the episode, but that first message you sent me was this starting five is whack.
it
Direct quote.
it was whack. Like
And
I
I
probably
had
was.
to
I
I
was
had to
still.
let her know I had not seen the episode yet, so don't say anything else because I
You
have
got the
no
Eric
idea.
Andre.
Instantly I was like this looks like it's a rant about to happen, but anyway, there you go. I'm gonna let you continue now.
I just so already since that was the top of the episode, I wasn't too excited. Um yeah, and I just since like the starting five is something that we were hype about and something that we were picking and looking forward to, they didn't choose people that I thought. And what's crazy was at first I was thinking, my Hank Pym choice might have been a bad choice because he's technically a bad guy in the episode. But then they turned around and picked Killmonger. So if that's the case, I didn't think Killmonger was a bad choice. I just wasn't considering him because he was a bad guy. So if they could pick Killmonger, well then I don't see why Hank Pym was a problem. Now, as for giving Disney a little bit of leeway, this is the second Disney Plus show that has been affected by COVID. The Falcon and the Winter show that we got was dramatically different than what was intended because of COVID. They had to reshoot and re-edit because the main focus of the show was going to be a pandemic. And then we had one. They didn't want to put that out there. Now, as for this show, the Gamora and Iron Man episode that we lost was probably wild important. They have said that episode is going to be moved to season 2, but seeing Gamora in this final episode, like I I mean, it was nice to see her, but I had no reference for why she would be there. As far as I'm concerned, that's still the Gamora from Earth 616. She wouldn't have been in my starting five.
Mm-hmm.
So for what reason was she here? We don't know that. And I think that makes the episode a little difficult to, I don't want to say difficult to stomach, but I'm missing mad information.
Yeah, it kind of I agree. The Gamora thing seemed out of place. Like I had no context for the character and what was going on. Like it just seemed like they just kind of, oh, we want Gamora, and then they just created a scenario where her and Tony Stark were together destroying the Infinity Stones, and I was like, that's what universe was this? Like I was kind of curious as to how all of that came together watching it when I saw it on screen. But that's news to me. I didn't know that there was a Gamora episode in that was supposed to be developed. Is that why Zoe Saldana did not voice Gamora? Because that wasn't her, was it? It didn't sound like her.
That was not her. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's the reason why she did not voice the character, but I know that the episode was not finished.
gotcha. I'm assuming. I would assume that that's probably part of the reason. Maybe she was not available to film to record her audio or the dialogue for the episode.
Probably working
Possibly.
with Avatar 37.
Yeah, that too. Pretty sure she's, and you know she's got to do voiceover for that because I mean she does, you do your acting, but then you know when you're in mocap, like you still got to go and re-record and dub over your lines and stuff for certain sequences. So you know maybe she was busy, but um that makes a lot more sense now. I'm glad that you said that and you shared that information on the stream because I didn't know that there was an episode planned for Gamora. I thought she was noticeably absent throughout the show because they were, I mean, we saw Thanos how many times and Nebula and no Gamora until this episode really. It did that was odd. It was definitely noticeable. I don't know how off-putting it made me, but I definitely felt like it was a little out of play or at least lacked some context that maybe have helped. Although she did, you know, the episode still, I still enjoyed the episode. Like yes, echo your sentiment. It is a 7 for me. It's probably, it's not the finale that I would have wanted, but it was still entertaining and I enjoyed it for what it was. But I think overall this season has been like a 7.5. I think on average, most of the episodes I've given a 7, and then there were a few just exceptional episodes that got 8s, 9s, 9.5s. But I think overall we balance out to somewhere in that 8, well 7.5 to 8 category for the whole season.
I mean,
But yeah,
this is the episode that I ranked the lowest. I don't think anything was below an 8, even the episodes that I liked the least. So I would say for me, it's probably over an 8. Um, but I agree with something the captain's log said. The captain's log said 7.5 out of 10. I'm mad it was limited to just one of each. We have the entire multiverse to go through and we just get 5 people. I wanted multiple variants of these characters. And I agree. And I'm wondering if this is a personal, I'm putting too much weight on the Disney Plus shows or this animated show. I wanted to hold it. Well, I'm holding all of these shows as the same level as I was hold a film. Like it's way longer. That, in my opinion, probably took more time to film and more effort in a lot of ways, or more work since it's lengthier. So it would be fair to hold the entire season to a Marvel film. Um, but maybe we shouldn't because since they introduced variants in Loki, I'm just assuming that the rest of the projects we're going to see variants.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I agree. And I also think that some of it has to do, and for me, I go back to like season 1 of The Mandalorian, where there for Star Wars fans, for like the hardcore Star Wars fans, it was sort of average season 1. But I think a lot of it may have to do with them trying to figure out what works from, because you don't really know. Like this is, what if is so it is very experimental. Like they're just trying to figure out. I think I will give them some leeway there and say that they're trying to figure out what works for this concept of a show. Season 2, I can't give that type of leeway. Like season 2, they've got to like come really hard. Like they've got to go and just blow us out of the water with these variants and these different concepts, and maybe tell a more linear like and focused story with these characters. Give us some more lore and stuff, kind of like just exactly what the Mandalorian season 2 did. Like right off the bat, like we get a crate dragon battle. Like what? Like that is, they got to do something like that with season 2. Like they just got to go, deep into that lore bag and give us some really cool stuff. I think they touched on a lot of things that some of the hardcore Marvel fans would be interested in seeing, and a lot of the normal fans as well, because one thing that Marvel on the MCU side has done a really good job with is making something that the hardcore fans will enjoy, because if they're excited and they're talking about it, then that gets everyone else interested and engaged in what's to come. Like you have to lean on your hardcore fan base, because they're the ones that are going to push it and market it better than your marketing department will, because I mean they're the ones that talk to everyday people on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like they're the ones that sit in the classrooms and at work and talk about why this movie is going to be amazing, or why this TV show is going to be amazing. They're the ones that do what we're doing now, have a live stream talking about why we're excited for an upcoming Disney show. Like that they need that type of momentum going into a show. Same as, Star Wars and any fandom, especially DC, but we're not going to talk about DC because Lord have mercy, they've got some issues down there, but we've covered that from end to end. But I think with Marvel, I think What If for me is very experimental, and I think season 2 they've got to push harder, on expectations and actually do something that is very bold, very different, and don't worry about if people are going to be able to understand what's going to happen. That's what the hardcore fan base is for. The hardcore fans are going to make sure everybody understands, and they're going to be there to explain things to people when, to whatever they see on screen. Like I feel like the same way, like season 2 of The Mandalorian, like I can add context to how amazing that crate dragon battle was in episode 1, even though it was amazing to watch. But it's like I can give you more lore details about how significant that fight is and that creature, and same thing with Marvel fans. Like they can do stuff like Ultron still kind of fell flat, and that's a complaint of mine. Like it felt like he was too easily defeated in this episode, and that's my biggest complaint. And I think that that's something that could have been stretched out for 1 or 2 episodes, or at least 2 to 3 episodes, maybe 3. I think 3 might be stretching it, but 2 episodes would have been nice, a part 1 and a part 2, just like Endgame and Infinity War. Like I think he deserved that type of because last week's episode I can't really, I guess you could count, but I need him fighting the multiversal Avengers for 2 episodes.
Yeah, Thanos is the only Marvel villain that got the amount of screen time they deserved. Like we saw a lot of Thanos, and we got to see that defeating him was not easy. Everybody else, they took him out quickly. Not to say in Disney's defense, but maybe a benefit to them is that by the next time we get a What If, I'm going to stand on it and say that the Fox and the Sony properties would have been brought into the MCU. So, and I think that might be what we need. Although they had the ability to tell new and exciting stories about older characters. And by older, I mean previous MCU film characters. we as fans are looking for something else now. We've already seen, as much as we love those films a million times, we know those characters. Tell me a story that's more exciting. Um, there's going to be more variants, more characters, and characters that we haven't seen in the MCU yet,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully available to the show. And I think that would make things a lot more exciting. Like, finally, and I think What If is the best place to do that. It's going to be really difficult to make an X-Men film. We've seen great ones, we've seen not so great ones, and I don't want them to rush on it. But animation, we're just going to be so hyped to see it. Not to say that they can slack on it, but we're going to be excited no matter what they do.
Yeah.
So they can put X-Men and Spider-Man and, I don't know, characters that we aren't really thinking about right now all together, and that's going to excite us.
Well, and I to add to your point, really, the serialized format is a great way, whether it's animation or live action, it's a great way to introduce brand new characters that a lot of people are not familiar with, especially in a faster paced timeline that I think we're going to deal with phase 4 and phase 5 and the following phases. I don't think they're going to have with the amount of projects that they have on their plate, they're not going to have as much time as they did in the first 3 phases to give us original films and origin stories, while also pushing this phase plot forward. Like, they're going to have to hit the ground running with a lot of characters, but the Disney Plus stuff and the serialized TV shows that are episodic in nature, you can build all that character development for brand new characters that people aren't familiar with, so that they can actually, once they make it to the big screen, we've already seen their backstory, we are already familiar with the character, and we have our opinions about them, and so we're more excited when they show up on the big screen. Like, it's rewarding. Like, same thing, similar to how it's exciting to see like a character like Ahsoka Tano on the Star Wars side jump from animation to live action. Like, we had so much time spent with this character, to see her in another format is good, and I think Marvel can do the same thing with some of their other characters. Like, and What If is a great platform for that, because they don't have to show us the characters that we've already seen and we're already familiar with within the MCU. They can introduce brand new characters that we are not so familiar with, but in this alternate timeline or multiverse, they can show us what this character is about, and then introduce that character into the 616, but in that 616 timeline. If that makes sense. Like, you can introduce the X-Men, to your point, right, in a parallel universe in like the 617 or something, whatever, right, and give us introductory to some of the characters from the X-Men, and then have them leap from the 617 to the 616, and then boom, you don't have to do a traditional origin story. We've already seen this origin story. They're just leaping from one multiverse to the other, and they did it in What If series, or something to that effect.
I agree completely. I mean, just think about 2 characters we saw on Disney Plus, Agatha Harkness and Sylvie. These are now characters that we like, and we are very connected to them, and it would be exciting to see them in a film. So I agree with you. They don't have to rely on film to introduce us to characters. How dope would it be to see a character go from animated in What If to being on a show to being in a film, or even taking smaller characters from films and putting them in the shows? All of these different connected all this different connected media on different platforms is super dope, and I hope they would utilize it a little bit more. I had a point that I wanted to make.
Continuity in this type of media, in this media age, in this entertainment age, is so important, because that's really the unique aspect of the times that we're living in. Like, we don't have to segment our media anymore. Like, things can leap from a comic book page to animation to a live action show to a movie in a matter of 1 to 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something we've never seen that before. Not at that speed. Like, comics were around a long time before we saw anything on the silver screen on TV, in animated format. But nowadays, like, you can start, you can tell a story in a novel and it be picked up by a streaming platform, and it's now an animation or a live action show, like within a matter of, years of it, or maybe even a matter of months of it, reaching the height of its popularity.
Steve, why are you bringing up old stuff? Why are you doing this right now?
Oh,
That's not what this conversation is about.
Yeah. And it is so rewarding to see that, like, that those characters that you've been with for a long time. Like, I mean, for me, Ahsoka is that's a prime example. Like, I literally watched this character grow up in animation, see her as a young adult in the in Rebels and another animation, and then see her as an adult in live action in The Mandalorian. Like, it's so rewarding for the fans who have been with that and has gone through the paces with this character, but it also doesn't leave people who haven't seen all the other content left out. Like, you can still follow along, you can still enjoy and appreciate the character in as it's presented in that larger format, or not larger format, but larger audience genre, like a live action show, or like a movie. Like, if we see, let's say we got, because I think that was confirmed, the Agatha Harkness TV show or spinoff is coming.
They didn't say what it was, but they did say she's getting a spinoff of her own.
Yeah. So they didn't announce if it's going to be a TV show or a movie, but to see for in that instance, right? Like, everyone wants to see Agatha and Sylvie, and I'm pretty sure Sylvie's going to get something as well. Like, I mean, it's just a matter of time before they announce that. But everyone is anticipating no matter how you felt about WandaVision, I think the majority of people who watched the show really liked Agatha Harkness as a character.
The world loved Agatha Harkness. I mean, Agatha All Along, people are putting beats behind it. There's an Agatha All Along club mix on SoundCloud right now. I don't even know that for a fact. I just know how we are. Someone made that.
Exactly. So, like, she's already become a popularized character, and then when you see her on the big screen after you've seen whatever her next iteration is, alongside or against the Avengers, you're going to be like, it's going to be so rewarding, because you're like, wow, I know what she's about. I know what she's capable of. Like, I've seen the things that she's done. She has a history that I've experienced. But then also at the same time, for those who haven't seen her show or movie or seen WandaVision, they can still appreciate what they see on display in that format. So it's I think they don't have to play it as safe as they do at times. Like, they can be bold. Like Shang-Chi, for example, like, they need to have that type of energy with everything that they produce, everything coming out of Marvel, because that's probably one of the best films that I have seen come from Marvel Studios and many other studios. Like, it is a really, really good, well-rounded film. Like,
I already told you, I'd argue that is the best film to come from Marvel Studios. I can't think of a movie, and y'all know how I feel about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm choosing Shang-Chi every time.
Yeah, it was that good. It was just that good.
Yeah. One thing I want to give Star Wars credit to, and I think this is I don't want to say a problem, but something that Disney Marvel are ignoring, are people age. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love that in Star Wars, we've been able to see Ahsoka and many characters as children and now adults. And I can guarantee you we're going to see her, if they don't kill her character, as a middle-aged woman, that we'll see her old.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's cool.
I can almost guarantee you that that's going to happen. Given where
Her, or are we gonna see her old?
we'll see her old. Dave is not going to kill Ahsoka. I just do not. That would shock me.
I agree with you. Like, we're going to see her old, and that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what, Disney is keeping all of their characters in between 25 to 50. Like, the only person who has aged is Tony Stark. Everybody else around him is young while he's staying the same age. Or excuse me, everybody else around him is young while he's aging. That's it. And then they killed him the moment he got a little salt and pepper right here.
And they have an excellent opportunity to do that with one, the X-Men franchise, and then two, Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man franchise, because Peter Parker ages throughout the comic books, and then he becomes a mentor. Like, we see him go through all these phases, and then similar to Batman, right? Like, DC does the same thing. Like, they don't age the characters. They don't let these characters grow old and become mentors, and where either
finally gonna get Batman Beyond, though.
You kind of hopefully that they figure out which Batman they want to stick with, and allow us to live with that character for years to come. Anyway, staying on Marvel. Yeah, we need
real fast.
Go ahead.
Before we go back to Marvel, in my mind, I just had an idea, like, wouldn't it be cool if they did something and brought all the Batmen together? And then I had to think, like, we'd have to see George Clooney and the Batnips on screen.
We have to see Batnips.
I don't want
Maybe it'd be all the Batmen versus Batnips.
If they could just take the nips off, just like.
Nah, he's the villain. Like, he's the villain in this.
Okay, I'm not.
It's a multiverse. It's a multiverse, and that in the George Clooney Batman becomes the villain. He's the one that kills the Joker.
the jokes, and maybe I need to start writing, because I could write an entire movie about Batnips and his nips, like, I don't know, like Spidey senses, but instead of Spidey senses, like, they get hard when he's in danger. Okay, sorry, it was on my mind.
Oh man, that would be
Or like they would grow when his suit charged up, and then as it used up power, like they would deplete.
Why was that never made into a parody? Like, that had so much potential. Like, maybe everyone in the late 90s, early 2000s when that came out was just like, it just why would you parody that? Because it's like, it's the comedy just jumps off the page. It almost is presented as a parody.
So I Googled Batnips parody just to see if anyone has done something. And the first thing that pops up is George Clooney didn't know his bat suit had nipples. How?
Oh man, that is interesting. But yeah, I think
and didn't realize until the movie came out. You didn't look at yourself in the mirror?
He
never mind.
It wasn't his best performance as an actor. I would wager that he didn't enjoy his time as Batman like the other actors have. I think I would say that if I had to guess, because I don't know, I would guess that he probably enjoyed his experience the least as the Batman. Maybe Ben Affleck, actually, because I forgot he had all that. Never mind. I think it's probably up between him and Ben Affleck.
With the way the news sound, Robert Pattinson ain't enjoying it, and the movie hasn't even come out yet. So it might be safe to say that might not be a job anybody wanted except Christian Bale.
Yeah,
well, not
one. Michael Keaton and Christian Bale have been our best live action Batman, and I think that they've enjoyed their experience. I thought, never mind. We'll stay on topic, stay on target.
Sorry.
Back to Marvel, and to your point, yeah, I think we'll see Ahsoka age. I think that not only that, I think that Ahsoka is going to become the Yoda of this generation. As far as like, I think they'll keep her around and she'll be that old mentor type figure within Star Wars going forward. But but we do want to see that, happen in Marvel as well. Like, hopefully they can keep Sam Jackson around and Nick Fury can be that. And man, I wish we'll see what they do with Captain America, but that would be nice to keep Cap around, because Cap is always around. He's always available for the Avengers whenever they need him. So he doesn't have to suit up all the time to be Captain America. Like, he can still be a pivotal like leader for the Avengers going forward. And I hope they bring Chris Evans back in some sort of capacity. He doesn't have to put the suit on. I mean, it would be nice if he put the suit on every now and then, but it would be cool to see him be that type of mentor type figure.
Actually, I was just taken back to Isaiah Bradley and our theory that the reason why he chose Sam to be the next Captain America is because when he had gone back in time and he stayed, he met Isaiah Bradley. And Isaiah Bradley might be like the only old super soldier, or at least the only older character in the story that's like active right now. Like, they done killed Odin. Who else is old? Ego is dead. Hank Pym is still around, but he's only
not that old. Like, he's still capable of, like, I know what you, it's more that mentor sagely type of village elder character like, that they need.
I like the idea of, we'll see Isaiah Bradley again. We know what was his grandson's name? Isaiah Bradley was Captain America, right? I'm going to make sure I'm not saying wrong. So at the very least, I feel like we deserve a timepiece in the past with a younger Isaiah Bradley. Like, that would be something. And then, of course, we're going to get to see his grandson again. That's probably the closest we're going to get to Marvel playing with age and time right now, and like generations and stuff. But we deserve to see that.
Yeah, we definitely want to see the generations. And it's like, maybe they were tired of Robert Downey Jr. because every time we see Tony Stark in What If, man, like, goodness gracious, they are done with him.
I was actually watching a review and a breakdown of the episode. I'll pull up the page so I can tell you who said it. But they made the theory that in every episode, every time Captain America dies, things got worse with time. And they compared it to, he was around to kill Thanos, but now that he's gone, all hell is breaking loose. Mm-hmm. And so they suggested that, like, him dying causes problems in every universe. I'm trying to find the page that I saw, but that was like a really cool way of thinking about it. Yeah, they definitely had beef with him, but the only thing we could gain from is that when he's not around, Ish goes crazy. It was
Captain America or Iron Man?
Iron Man. When Tony Stark dies, things go down.
Gotcha. Yeah, they do drastically. Like, although he does make his fair share of mistakes, the mistakes he makes end up being better than what would happen if he were taken out of the picture completely. That is a theme that does seem to resonate or stand out. Hopefully, and that's honestly more of an optimistic perspective than like where I was going, because it was like, yo, the way they keep killing off Tony Stark, it's like, yo, what's going on behind the scenes with RDJ? Is there an issue, or like, because he doesn't catch a break at all.
What if his death is an absolute point in time? Like, it has to happen.
I can believe that. Like, I don't want to take away his death in Endgame, I felt was the appropriate time to end the character. Like, I'm not complaining about that at all, but it's like, yo, they keep beating us over the head with it in the multiverse. But if his death is a universal constant, then or a multiversal constant, then okay, I can buy that. I can get behind that. It is that important. It's that pivotal that it has happened. I mean, it was a catalyst though. Like it he saved the earth and the universe with his sacrifice. So, the one time he wasn't selfish ends up saving the universe. But
Ducky says they cut his episode because he lives and they couldn't have that.
that might be. I don't know. That's my theory. I have no idea. I'm just observing what they did in the show. 9 episodes.
I'm not gonna hold you. We couldn't finish the episode because of COVID. Sounds crazy to me when they could do that from the comfort of their homes at the very least. So
they could. I think the only if the animation wasn't finished, then yeah, that would be hard to do remotely because of trying to transfer data remotely over servers, especially like art files like that. Like that's going to be time and labor. That's going to be time, especially something time sensitive like that. That's going to take a lot. Because they have all those render farms, and like to do that while you're not connected to the main hardwired in, like that's going to take way more time than it would if you were. You know what I'm saying? So if the animation wasn't finished, the artwork wasn't finished, then yeah, there's no way that they were going to do that remotely, like in a reasonable timeline, and still be able to put the show out this year. The voices, like now, if the artwork is finished, right, and all they got to do is record and get the actors to come in and record their dialogue, yeah, they could do that remotely. Like that would definitely seem like a stretch. But it just depends on how far along they were in production.
I'm not going to speculate there. Well, yeah.
That one's tough stuff because it's that data transfer wirelessly from like where are they in this Los Angeles? Where's Marvel headquarters? Are they in Atlanta? Either way, wherever they are, right? Like their offices, they have these big server rooms. Everyone is hardwired in, so when they're doing animations like this, like they're just in
California
transferring the data, and then if everyone's home, that man, yeah, that would take a while. But anyway, hard to say. Well, who knows? Maybe one day we will, but for now we don't.
I think that's all I got.
That's all I got too. That's all I got. It was a fun ride. Wasn't as amazing as I was hoping that it was going to be. It wasn't bad though. It was average. It was a solid 7 or 8. Had some very, very good moments, had some very fun and like exciting episodes, but overall I feel like 7.5 was where I would rank this entire show. Mike Porter just hopped in the chat. Mike, we got to hear from you, man. Well, we kind of know where you rank this, but we definitely want to hear you on a scale of 1 to 10 on the episode and on the season.
That's Mike, licensed to shill Porter. Let's get that right.
So once again, exactly where he's ranking this episode, but because he's such a constant viewer and valued member of this community, we definitely want to hear what 1,000 is he ranking this episode.
While we wait for Mike's answer, the Captain Locke asked us who would it be our Guardians of the Multiverse. Well, we said starting 5 last week, and in this episode, it was 5 on top of the super or souped up Doctor Strange and the Watcher. That wasn't limited to those 2 plus 3. So definitely keeping those 2. I still liked the violent kill everybody Hank Pym. I thought them including the zombie Scarlet Witch in the episode was dope. Actually, I didn't mention the highlights. That was really cool. And I didn't consider that they would just like the zombies would come in at all. So that was cool to see. So I'm sticking with zombie Scarlet Witch. And that's also the only time we saw her in the show, right?
Yep, that's a zombie.
Yeah.
We never saw her.
I'm gonna keep Captain Carter. We like Captain Carter. I did not like Killmonger, so I'm gonna leave him there. I'm gonna hold you. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Lord T'Challa either, but all right, he can come to the party. And then Thor.
Yeah.
If you don't have no superpowers or something, I don't want you.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Have a extra something going on. Black Widow could go.
Ducky, I am gonna agree with you there. I am surprised that they did not use Captain Marvel.
Oh, I'm swapping out Star Lord T'Challa for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that one. Um, yeah, I think that would be my. I forgot who I picked last week. I don't think I picked Captain Marvel either last week.
I know you had Thor, Star Lord T'Challa, and then you had the Watcher and the Doctor Strange. I don't remember who that other pick was.
The Hulk.
Yes,
because he wasn't dead. Like, I mean, because I'm like, how would they have killed him? I mean, yeah, there were zombies, but he's the Hulk. Like, unless the Scarlet Witch killed him, I don't see him. I think he'd have been all right. And certainly the Watcher could have plucked him out of that whole predicament, just like he did everybody else.
Yeah. Dang, that would stink though. He plucked them out and then, all right, I'm done with you. Go back to the zombies. That's crazy. Basically. I did like that he sent the widow who had lost everything to I want to say that was episode 3, where Hank Pym had killed everyone.
Oh yeah.
I think that was the universe that he sent her back to.
I did not put that together. I like that.
There was no Hulk. There was no Cap, I think. There was no Tony Stark. And the widow was gone. I think that was it. That
makes sense. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a nice way to put a bow on it.
Yeah. So I would say that I'm glad that we got to see that, because maybe we'll see the Watcher at some point on screen. Since they chose such an iconic voice for the Watcher, I would hope we would get to see the actor on screen also at some time. So it would be cool if he was like, you know what, you're needed over here. Let's just pluck you from this universe and put you over there. I think that would be cool.
What is his name? Jeffrey Wright. Yeah, Jeffrey Wright is his name. Yeah, you don't get Jeffrey Wright to voice a character and then not use him in live action to reprise the role as the character. Like, you don't do that. Like, he's that caliber of an actor and a talent that you don't just. I'm pretty sure that in his contract somewhere there's a stipulation for him to come back and do more. There's some sort of agreement where he'll come back and reprise his role as this character. And his voice is so iconic that he has to be. He can't play anything else, like, because his voice is just he's the Watcher now, you know.
Yeah. I'm excited. So, like I said, I liked this season. I liked the show, but it would be nice if season 2 was even better.
Oh no, season 2 has to be better. It just has to be. You got to take the gloves off for season 2, Marvel. You got to take the gloves off and just go there. Just go places. Boldly go.
The captain's log says Jeff is going to play the commissioner. Is going to play Commissioner Jordan, if he remembers correctly. And yes, that is in the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman film.
He's going to
He
be
is, in
a
fact,
great Commissioner Gordon. He's going to be great as Commissioner Gordon. He's
That's
also in No Way to Die. The Bond movie that comes out this weekend.
It's out everywhere but here already, and it has made a lot of money.
Yeah,
if I'm correct. Like it's made over $100 million already.
Yeah, it's Bond. Like what? Come on. We knew this, but it's good to see, man. I'm glad that people are, going back to theaters, but not, I haven't seen in the news or heard in the news that there's been any type of craziness going on at the theaters. So I'm glad people are venturing out and going back in, because there's some films that have come out like that. You're gonna have to experience them on the big screen. Like Dune. Every time I see some content for Dune, I'm like, yeah, this is probably going to be one of those things that it's like you need to see this in the theater.
Yeah. We asked Mike for his opinions, and we never said anything about it. But he said he felt like the finale episode was as good as any MCU movie, and it felt like watching a comic. And I love team ups. I can agree with that. Yes. It felt more like watching a comic. And my only issue with it was just that loss of the Iron Man and Gamora episode. I really needed that to enjoy the finale, and so I was a little bummed about that. But I wouldn't call the finale bad. But we knew he was going to love it anyway. We knew.
Oh yeah. But he makes a valid point. Like this whole series felt like a comic book. Like, and I appreciate that about What If. Like, I mean, that's why that's part of the reason why it's been up there for me, because it feels like literally them taking pages out of the comic books and putting it into an animated format. Like, even the animated shows don't feel this much like a comic book. Like, this really feels like a comic adventure.
The artwork style did too.
Yeah, the artwork definitely did. That boy Steve, James Bond never goes out of style. He just I mean, Imani, do you disagree?
Nope, my grandmother's been having a marathon.
It's just, it's one of those timeless things. Like there'll always be room for Bond 007 in some form or fashion.
A spy with a hot chick. Every time, it never fails.
British accent, all that, there's just everything. Just
I was rewatching the one with Mads Mikkelsen when he was hitting him in the stuff.
Why
did they do
Casino
that?
Royale? Casino Royale, that man, I saw that in the theater. Woo, that's surround sound on that scene.
Didn't even come up with that. Like, yo, we gonna put a hole in this chair. I was thinking it was so he could use the bathroom. Nope.
Nah, that movie was not. Boy, that was rough. That was rough. That was rough. That was rough, man. It was like it went from James Bond to Saw in like
2 seconds.
Instantly.
I could only imagine.
And his screams. Oh my goodness. That's what sold it. Like his screams were like, yo.
Was the theater packed when you saw it?
Yes.
How was the crowd?
In there were like, moaning, man. People were crying like it was bad. It was rough. That was a hard scene to watch. You don't want to see that. That's hard to watch.
It hurt me.
It's hard to watch, boy. That was a stomach churner right there.
Yeah, so that's why.
Protect the McNuggets. Oh man,
Nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why Bond. We're still here. Me too, Mrs. Cooper. I don't know if it's going to happen.
It could happen. We shall see. I
hope so. We need to show up. That happens. We need to show up the way we showed up for Black Panther. Okay, we show up like that.
that it won't. You won't. It's not like you got to put out the all call. Like it's going to happen if they announce Idris Elba is the next James Bond. Like it's said. That movie's making well over $1 billion in the box office.
Okay, side note. So the way black people showed up with like head wraps and kente cloth for Black Panther,
Man,
think they go wear suits if they could go see Idris as Bond?
oh man. See the only bad part about Idris playing Bond is that it's that 4X is the black 4X community. Oh man, they're gonna be unbearable.
Oh, you know the
But other
video
than that, it's
where
gonna
they
be
all
great.
marching with suits on?
The who?
The videos of the dudes when they just marching with suits.
Oh yeah.
They go march their way to the theater. And like
That's
it's gonna be
exactly.
all the suits, and then the camera's gonna pan. It's gonna say cinema.
You go show up to show up to see James Bond, think you at a Nation of Islam meeting.
I'm telling you right now, they're gonna make his love interest white. That's gonna happen.
Oh man, that is going
to do it. So prepare yourselves now. If Idris Elba is Bond, his love interest is gonna be white.
But he doesn't ever have one. They're always multiple. One of them is definitely going to be white. That's for sure. That's definitely going to happen.
Prepare yourselves now. When the trailer comes out, when the movie comes out, don't act surprised. All right, Dr. Umar is going to lose his mind, but we need to prepare ourselves from now. That's going to happen, okay? If it does not happen, I'm going to be surprised. So I'm going to prepare myself for it. That way, I'm not mad. I can't even be mad because you knew it was going to happen.
That, oh, man, wait. I had, what? No. Who is, I forget the actress's name, but she is the co-star in this Bond with the black, Letitia, is it?
No, it's not.
It's Lynch. Her last name is Lynch.
No Time to Die.
I forget her name. I'm blanking on her name.
Lashana Lynch.
Lashana Lynch. Yes. I would not mind her being next 007.
She is 007.
Oh yeah, she is double. But I mean, like,
she can't be James Bond.
She can't be James Bond, but if she is the lead in the next 007, because he is his code is 007. So yeah. Like that's always been my argument for like them if they wanted to gender switch or change the race of 007. Yeah, you can do that with the name the 007 because it doesn't have to necessarily be James Bond. You can have 007 be other agents that aren't named James Bond. Either way, we'll see what they do. We'll see. James Bond is always going to be it's going to be a hit.
The movies aren't actually called James Bond. No. Or maybe one had Mr. Bond in the names, but for the most part, they're only 007. However, she's not like they have him on as like the main poster. She's not included in that. So I'm really hoping she's on screen a lot more. But she was at least in Spectre, right? Was she in Casino Royale? I mean, not Casino Royale, Skyfall?
No.
So then she's only been in one. I would think that they're going to give her a lot more screen time.
She's supposed to be co-starring in this movie. Like, it's from what I could gather, it seems like they're setting her up to be the next 00, like her to take over as 007 going forward. Like, it's what they seem to imply. We'll see how the movie pans out, but they already gave her she's 007 in the movie, so
yeah,
and he is James Bond, so there we go. But anyway, it's been real. Thank you all for joining us and watching along for this review. We'll have more stuff and more content coming. The cookout will be back sometime next week. It probably won't be on Tuesday, but sometime next week. We'll always put the alert out in the notifications. So make sure you hit
Life
that
is
bell icon.
happening right now, y'all.
Life is happening. Life is
Life is
lifing. So things are kind of like schedules, kind of like getting, shifting and doing all types of Tetris maneuvers. So we're having to contend with that right now. But um, yeah, that's it for this.
Allergies,
And
y'all. Excuse me.
until next time, Imani, you want to take us out?
Yes.
As always.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Certified Gumbo. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on those notifications. They're right over there by Coop. Please
there
buy
somewhere.
some coffee. The link is in the description bar down below. And as always, join us on Discord. We talk about this stuff all day, every day. Please join us. Coop, what's happening?
Don't know. Gameplay video game stream sometime this weekend when I have some free time. I will be back, streaming. So make sure you turn on those notifications. That's why you need those on. And also be sure to look out for the YouTube shorts that we're putting out on the channel, because we are doing a lot more short content, and we're using shorts to drive that content because it's convenient, it's easy, and it seems to be doing very well for us as far as viewership. So as we continue to grow, I think we shall balance out our live stream content with our shorts and what have you. Nothing is set in stone right now. We have no idea. We can't tell you. We will, once we know more of how things will work out, then we'll let you all know. But understand, we are going to continue to give you all content. It just may change and vary as we move along. But as always, it's been great, and we appreciate you all for joining. Until the next time, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.